Okay. Let's see. Is that working? Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Okay. Am I in sync now? Okay. Perfect. Sorry about that, guys. I'll have to redo this and post edit and merge those two videos somehow. But okay. That was exciting. So, let me get back to it really quick. Foundation, I purchased a special license that you can no longer buy right now. And if you use a Foundation 6 project, you're going to have full license for Font Awesome Pro. So that is super cool. Currently, even they've actually moved to a subscription service, right? Which makes Foundation 6 even more valuable because you will get a full license with every Foundation site you build for Font Awesome Pro. Super cool. So that is really, 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 really cool. Okay. So anyway, super cool about that. Someone says I have double audio. Do I have double audio? I don't see another audio track being used. Okay. Man, we're just finding all the issues today. I don't see any duplicate audios going on. Okay. So, okay, we're going to keep going. Hopefully that fixes it. I did disable one thing. Hopefully everyone can still hear me. Working there in Hawaii. Thanks, Tony. Man, ish internet today. Okay. Let's jump back to Font Awesome really quick. So here we go. This is Font Awesome. And so how are we going to use Font Awesome 5 today? Okay. So there are some really cool trickery stuff to kind of like preload some icons. I'd say that's really complex. And I have started work on a new product called Icon Pro. And it's going to be similar, kind of like what Font Pro is. And it will do some interesting things. It'll load, since Font Awesome 5 is so complex, it will help you load things. And it will even, it has a feature that allows you to upgrade Font Awesome 4 icons to Font Awesome 5 icons. So if you like have an entire site built that uses Font Awesome 4 and you want to like upgrade that to be Font Awesome 5, Icon Pro will do that for you. I don't have an estimate on when that will be released. It'll be released after Foundation because that's more important. Okay. So how are we going to use Font Awesome 5 today though? Like on my current websites, I want to use some cool Font Awesome 5. How do I do that right now? Okay. So let's figure this out. One thing that's cool about Font Awesome 5 is that everything is called an SVG. We've talked about SVGs many times. It's a scalable vector graphic. And what's really cool about it is you can actually like style it and stuff like that, right? Okay, so if you log in, if you own Font Awesome 5, you can log in and then you can get to, if you log into your Font Awesome account, you can download everything, right? So you go into here, Font Awesome Pro, I own it, I can download. Now, you can still use, there's still a free icon pack that I think you can, if you sign up for free, you can probably download somewhere, you can just download the free icons, okay? But what you're going to do is you're going to download the icons. And I've already done that, right? So here you can go, just click on the download page. And here you can say free for web or pro for web. This is what we want, okay? I've already downloaded it just so that I have a fresh copy. And here is what you get when you download, okay? So you'll get, there's a ton of files in here. You have CSS and JS and less, some metadata stuff, some SCSS. Effectively, pretty much all of you can just ignore all of that. Okay. I'll probably utilize that when we start doing Icon Pro because that does some interesting stuff for us. But right now, unless you want to play and try to learn it all, you can wait for Icon Pro. Okay. And what you really want, though, is this SVG folder. Now, there's also this web fonts folder, which it is possible you could probably load these maybe with Font Pro if you wanted. I haven't even tested that to be perfectly honest with you. And it's kind of broken out into all the brands, all regular icons, all solid icons and stuff like that. So it is broken up a little bit. But I'm just curious. Let's look at the light icon set. How big is that? 218K. That's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. 218K isn't horrible. It's not amazing, but it's not horrible. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go into SVGs. And inside SVGs, where they've broken it down into brands, duotone, light, regular, and solid. Okay. And if you go into, let's say, regular, here's all SVG files of every single icon. Right? Pretty cool. Okay. Now this isn't how I normally do it inside Finder. Okay. I'm gonna show you a cool app that I use. That the current version is a buy one time. I just got an email. They're going to release an updated version to this app called Icon Jar that is going subscription, which kind of saddens me. But you can go and purchase the current version right now. And it is a one-time purchase. And it's pretty awesome. So another thing, it is available in Setapp though. So if you own Setapp, you can get it within Setapp as well. This is an app called Icon Jar. And I effectively use Icon Jar as my Font Awesome browser. Like I even loaded Font Awesome 4 icons in here, and it's just really easy for me to search and find icons that I want, right? And what I do is inside I created a folder over here called Font Awesome. I currently have 5.7, so I'm a little behind on here, but I'll show you how I actually import the current download. So I've broken it down into brands, light icons, regular icons, and solid icons, right? So I can easily just kind of go into each one, browse what I want. Now, what's cool here is you can actually say like I want to preview all these icons in red or you know some other color. So it's kind of cool. And then what's really cool is you can just right click on any of these and you could say copy as SVG. So I can copy this, right click here, and I now have the SVG code in my clipboard that I can then paste into Rapidweaver, which is how we're going to be utilizing all of these. Okay. And there's actually two ways we can utilize these. I'll show you one way. There's two different ways. So that's really cool, right? So I have the SVG code. So now if we go into Rapidweaver, okay, what I'm going to do is Mr. Big White Duck himself, you probably all know him, and he has a great stack called Blueprint SVG. I'll have an SVG stack actually in Foundation as well. But for now, we can use Blueprint SVG, and it's really cool. And I could just paste in that SVG code that I got from Icon Jar, and voila, I now have an icon, which is really cool. And here inside I'm not going to go through all the Blueprint SVG settings here. You can customize the size of the icon, and all that jazz, but you can also customize the color, right? So I can recolor the fills to be different colors, right? And what's cool is inside here, he has normal color and hover color. So I can go ahead and choose whatever color I want, right? So if I want red, I can do that. Okay. Oh, it has an opacity to it, right? So I can choose all kinds of crazy colors. So that's really cool. That is the easiest way right now to get Font Awesome 5 icons onto your site. 100%. That is the easiest way. So yeah, get Icon Jar. Find the icon that you want, right click, copy as SVG. Okay. Now, if you don't have Icon Jar, let's say you don't have Icon Jar and you don't want to use that, you don't want to pay for it. I don't remember how much it is, but you don't want to pay for that. Let's go back and figure out how we can do this. So if we go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this SVG folder. There we go. Okay. So I dragged this SVG folder. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Okay. I dragged the SVG folder into my favorite code editor, VS Code. You can do this in any code editor as well. This will work in BB Edit or Text Wrangler or TextMate or whatever. Just drag the folder onto it. If you see in here, I have all of the icons. So if I click on light, we see that I have all these SVGs. Okay. And if you see here, it has the SVG code, right? So all I can do is if I wanted this one, which is alicorn. What in the world's alicorn? I don't know. We'll find out in a second. Copy that. Go into Blueprint SVG, paste it in there, and oh, it's a unicorn. Why would they call that an alicorn? What is an alicorn? Okay, weird. I would call that unicorn, but okay. So there we go. Super easy way, right? So again, I have access to all these SVG files. You find the one that you want. You just simply Control A, copy that code. I have no idea which one I just selected. Paste it into the page, and we're done. We have a nice bomb. Okay, pretty cool. So yeah, you can do that for free, right? I personally I like Icon Jar. I think it's a really nice app. It is a shame they're going subscription though. They didn't mention how much the subscription is, but yeah, I guess that's just the way of the future, sadly. But SetApp, I do pay for SetApp, and Icon Jar is in SetApp, so it's kind of a moot point for me. But oh, unicorns don't have wings. Oh, there we go. Okay, I guess a unicorn with wings is an alicorn. Never knew that one. Learned that one today. There's your interesting tidbit of the day. Who knew we would learn about unicorns today? Okay, so that's really cool. Super easy, right? And you can use these anywhere you want, just as you would use images. They're super scalable. They're going to be fast to load because it's just a little bit of code you're adding to the page. Now, there is another way to do this though. And that is to warehouse images. Okay. So since these are just SVG files, right? What we could do is, or I'm going to, for fun, let's load in. I wonder if it'll work in resources. Here, I'm going to test something. I'm going to go to resources, and I'm going to load in one of these SVG files. Here, let's choose one of these duotone ones. Let's do address book. Boom. Okay, there's the address book SVG. There we go. Interesting. I haven't tested this, by the way. So I loaded that into the resources. I'm going to go to my foundation image stack because it supports warehousing. So we're going to go to foundation image. Okay. Now, I do have to say that SVGs, you cannot drag them into these settings. Okay. Or you can't just drag them out to the stacks page. It won't work. Okay. Maybe that could be an interesting feature add for Isaiah. Yeah, drag and drop an SVG onto the page. Could be interesting. I don't know. Okay. So what we're going to do is foundation image. We're going to say warehouse image. And then we're going to go mobile. And I'm going to select a resource. And I haven't tried this at all. All right. I'm pretty sure I know it won't work in edit mode. But if we preview, will it work? Oh, look at that. It works. It makes it freaking huge, but that's kind of cool. So we could just define max image. And so currently the max is 800. We do like 256 or something like that, right? So yeah, there we go. It's now 256. That's actually quite large as well. Let's just do like, I don't know, 100. So there we go. We can now use foundation image stack. And what's kind of cool is you can then define different, well, you wouldn't want to really define different images for tablet and desktop because the SVG is going to be scalable, right? So you just find the mobile version. Kind of, it would be nice if it displayed in edit mode, but it works in preview and it'll work on publish. Okay. Isaiah is aware of this issue. It's just a thing with the resources API. Not sure it's even going to be possible to fix that, but it does work in preview. So yeah, small drawback. Now another thing, if we here, let me open up transmit. Let me show you a different way. If I go ahead and let's just go to my my test server, and let's just I'm just going to upload an SVG here. Let's upload SVGs, duotone. Here, let's do the Apple. What's it called? Apple Alt SVG. So here I'm going to copy URL. Then inside the, so I copied the URL. I now have a URL to that in my clipboard. And if I paste it in there, voila, that does display in edit mode. So that is, I uploaded the SVG to my server. I warehoused it, right? So I uploaded the SVG to my server. Maybe you can create a common folder on your server for all SVGs. And then I got the URL to it and I pasted it straight into the URL to the SVG directly into my file. So there we go. Now, a drawback of this is we can't, with this stack, change the color, right? We can't modify the color. So if you wanted to use the foundation image stack, you'll need to style the color of the SVG before you upload it to your server. So, and the way we do that is with your favorite image editing app, right? So if I were just to right click on this, you can use a popular one is Affinity Designer. You can also use any sort of vector graphic art. So Affinity Designer will do it. Adobe Illustrator will as well if you have that, or Sketch. And there's a few other like SVG editors on the App Store. Those are the big ones. I'm gonna here. I'll just open it in Affinity Designer right now. So it's opening, and I'm using Transmit. So I've never edited an image off through Transmit. This will be interesting. So okay, close. So if I wanted this, change the color of the apple to be red, change the curve to be, oops, I don't want it, green, something like that, right? And save it. Oh, it's gonna require that. It would be cool if it saved it in place as an SVG. So then at that point, you would just export that to an SVG file and then upload that new SVG to your server. And then that would be the color of your SVG. Okay. Now, what are the benefits of doing it this warehouse way versus Blueprint SVG? So if you're using an icon over and over and over and over and over, maybe it's something in your footer, right? Or, like your social sharing links. Maybe it's, the Twitter, the Facebook and whatnot, right? If you're using the warehouse method, those images will be cached so that even though they're small and they're tiny, right? This one particular, this Apple one is 645 bytes, right? And that's tiny. I mean, half a kilobyte it is, right? Or yeah, half a kilobyte. So that's really tiny. But, it's less network requests and all that stuff if the image is cached, right? So if you're going to be using an icon multiple times, especially a lot of them, you probably want to warehouse them, style them beforehand. If you don't need to do any sort of fancy things like hover effects or stuff like that, it's probably better to use this warehouse method so that your browser will cache it just as it would cache any other image. But if you're just using an icon once on your homepage, the Blueprint SVG is really simple, really easy. I'd probably recommend that way for that. So it really depends, right? Yeah, it's interesting. Basically the Blueprint SVG sticks the SVG straight in the HTML. And when you do that, there are some benefits to doing that. Is that, you can style it with CSS, you can add cool hover effects, and you can do some other stuff with the things, right? In fact, like if you use seams, that's exactly what seams does. All the seams that seams creates, all the curved lines or the silhouettes that it has, those are all SVG files, and it embeds them straight inside the HTML since they're super tiny. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Hopefully that answers some questions. Let me cruise through the chat box to see if there's any questions here. Just created it on the FA website free at first and created a kit. Haven't looked at it yet in detail, but how do you download the icons? So I went to the website. There was a download button and it said download your icons. I haven't created a free account, so maybe I should try that. But for me, when I logged in here, I'll go to my account again. Again, my account probably looked a little different because maybe because I have a pro account. But if I go to my account details when I log in, it says products and services. I have Font Awesome Pro and I have a download button. You have Create Kit. I haven't played with kits at all. So if we create a kit, oh yeah, this is kind of the more tricky stuff where it creates JavaScript files for you to embed on the page, and then you have to upload a folder to your server and some interesting stuff. That's a little complicated. I'll be honest. Using that method. Hopefully, what I had here is I had Font Awesome, and then I just clicked download, and then I clicked. There's this free for web download that you can download just the free icons. And here, if we download the free icons, we'll see what we have available. So inside here, we have, let's see, SVGs. So you have access to all the brands, all the regular, and all the solid icons. So that's still a lot, right? That's still almost over 1,000 icons that you can access for free. Let's see, there's 957 solid. Regular icons, there's 152, and brands, there's 429. So that's almost 1,500 icons in the free version that you have access to. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully you can figure out how to download the free for web version inside your account. Let's see what it says when I go to start using. See, they want you to create a kit and all that jazz. It's complicated stuff. It's tricky. And I wasn't really prepared to demo all of that stuff today, because it requires code and getting JavaScript files and uploading to servers. It's a little complex. So the way I showed you right now, super easy. Just download the SVGs and use them. So yeah. Can you also upload SVG files using Total CMS? Oh, yeah, you want another sneak peek? Okay. So right now the image inside Total CMS only supports bitmap related images, because while SVGs, they're images, they're not really images. All right. So SVGs are, as you saw, you can open them in a text editor. They're just bits of code. Okay. And they're basically directions on how the browser should draw the image. So, go up, 50%, and then go right, and then go up, and then go around, right? So that's how the browsers can scale these things infinitely, is because the SVG is an instruction on how to draw the SVG image. So that's very different than a JPEG, than a traditional bitmap related image, which is JPEGs, PNGs, all that stuff, right? So, and GIFs, right? Those are all bitmap related images where the file contains like a grid of pixels with color values and stuff like that. Very, very different technology. And Total CMS images only support bitmap related images. But with that said, you could use the file feature in Total CMS. So, because that will accept any file. So what you do is you'll upload an SVG as a file. Okay, so as a file, quote unquote. Where's my camera? File, right? And then at that point, you can get the URL to that file, and put it anywhere you want. And then that is now controllable via Total CMS. So you would upload it as a file. And then if you ever want to make new images or replace the existing SVGs, you can replace the SVG that you added via the file. So yes, you can do it with Total CMS. It's just a little bit different. Now, I'll give you a little sneak peek here. Here, close your eyes really quick. Hold on one second. Let me go over here. Okay. Let me show you something pretty slick over here. Okay. I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, what? You're teasing me more, Joe, but here is how SVGs will be done in Total CMS 2. Okay, so here is the admin portal for Weaver Space. Runs Total CMS 2. And let's go into call to action. Okay. So inside call to action, we go to, where is it? Oh, features. So here inside features, if you notice, they're Font Awesome 5 icons actually. And there's a cool little doodad where I could just paste in the SVG and off I go. So that's a really cool new thing that's coming, an SVG management, official SVG management in Total CMS 2. So really cool. So someone's saying, yes, he uses the file feature. Yep, that's the best way to do it. Yep. Oh, I wanted to show you really quick how to, inside Icon Jar, how I import things. So if you are going to use Icon Jar, let me just show you how I do things. So because I kind of like the way I've organized them, and it took me a little while to kind of get this workflow done. So what I do is we'll create a new set. So, and right, let's call it brands. And then I'm going to browse for icons. And actually, I would test this earlier. So yeah, so this is the brands folder that I downloaded from Font Awesome, right? So here, if we went to Font Awesome SVGs, right? I'm going to create a group for each of these: brands, duotone, light, regular, and solid. Okay, so I pointed to the brands folder. We're going to say open. And we're going to say import to a new set. So I now have a new set with brands, okay? And then I'm going to create another new set. We'll call it light. I'm going to browse for icons. We're going to go to the light folder. I'm going to say open. I'm going to say import. And it's importing. This one has a lot more icons. Okay, that's done. We're going to create another one. Call it solid. Browse for icons. I'm going to go to SVGs. We're going to go to solid. I'm going to create open. Import into new set. So I'm just creating a set for each of these folders. And then here we're going to create a regular. Oops. Regular. Browse for icons. SVGs. I'm going to go to regular. Open. Import. And then the new set, which this is the first time I'll actually have any of these in here. Duo tone. Browse for icons. SVGs. Go to duotone. Open. Import. Cool. So these are all Font Awesome 5.10.1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new group. Oops. Create a new group. I'm going to call it Font Awesome 5.10.1. And then I'm just going to essentially take all of these, drag it into that group. There we go. So now at this point, I don't really need Font Awesome 5.7 but if you ever wanted to, you can have multiple versions here. That is my workflow. So when I want to load the latest version of Font Awesome, I go through all of that. So it only took a minute or so, but that way we now have all the duotone, all the regular, all the solids, all the lights, all the brands. Yeah, so that's how I do it and how I organize things inside Icon Jar. Hopefully that helped you a little bit if you're going to do that as well. Okay. Cool. Let me see if there's any other questions. Is anyone interested in Joe's setup, in my setup? Oh man. Sure. If you guys are, anyone else interested in learning all the software I use and hardware I use, I got lots of toys. There is my lights. I was just shooting some video for the conference, and I'm learning Final Cut Pro, and it's been fun. Final Cut Pro is nice. I've been moving off of ScreenFlow. I'll still use ScreenFlow for like doing screen recording, but like editing the entire video. I've been using ScreenFlow for 10 years and I love it. I'm really fast at it. But loading, 4K 60 frame per second 4K videos into ScreenFlow, it's dog slow, right? So Final Cut's made for that stuff, and I can save a ton of time using Final Cut. But man, I use a lot of stuff. I could probably go for hours. So, but yeah, if you guys are interested, I'll do a video on my setup and my hardware. That could be fun. So yeah, maybe I'll do that in the next few weeks. So thanks for the feedback. Any other questions? If you have about Font Awesome, let me know, or hit me up on the Weaver Space community. Yeah, it's really cool. Hope you enjoyed today. Sorry for the hiccups earlier. Not sure why the audio got out of sync all of a sudden. We'll just call it gremlins. Thanks. But anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for being awesome members of the community. And well, hopefully we'll see you over in the Weaver Space community. And yeah, join the conference. Tickets, I think their early bird pricing is like one more week. So you got one more week to get some early bird pricing on the conference tickets. Go to summit.weavers.space. I should have a video up this week, kind of, my pitch for the conference. But all the information's there, especially if you joined previous years. It's going to be even better than we've had in previous years. I'm really excited about this year. Took me a while to kind of get the new system going. It's a completely new management system for the conference. Keeps me a lot more organized. It's going to be really great, especially going forward. So I'm really excited about that. So thanks everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Go out and make something great with all of your cool stacks that you got, because I know you can. Take care, guys. We'll see you. Hopefully we'll see some of you on the Hangout on Friday. You'll probably see some Foundation 6 previews, because I've been working pretty hard on that. So if you want to join in, I've saw a bunch of new people probably joining in, probably because I've been leaking these Foundation things. So come join if you want to see some Foundation 6 hotness on Friday on my Hangouts. And if not, we'll see you next week on the live stream. Bye, everyone.